So glad that we're here together for Mother's Day. And, I that song, My Mother's House, it made my heart so happy because it was so encompassing of the experience that we have with our mothers and with our children, and even with those nieces and nephews that we are playing the mother role to. There's this full scope of experience. And that's why when this title came up, my first country, I don't, that came from a poem that was created by this young woman. She's a young African American poet who is deemed the most famous Instagram poet. So you may or may not have heard of her, but her name is Naraya Waheed. And she's written this beautiful book. It's quite bright and cheerful. And while she didn't get great critical acclaim for this book because her poetry breaks the rules, which I kind of like rebels, but it's powerful in its simplicity. And this title, My First Country, came from her poem. My mother was my first country, the first place I ever lived. The first place I ever lived. And when I heard that, I kind of had to take a beat and I thought, wow, that is the first place I ever lived, was within my mother, within her conscious awareness. The moment she knew of me being in existence in even the smallest form, I began living there. And it's exciting to me that we can, each one of us, celebrate the country of our origin. For each one of us has a country of our origin. Now, we may be refugees. We may be fleeing our country. We may be having a whole different experience than some of the patriots, some of the people who have these beautiful relationships with their country. And that is what makes Mother's Day a very unique and challenging Sunday to discuss, because there is such a wide range of experience for Mother's Day. So as we continue exploring, I want to ask, what is a country? The definition of a country is a nation with its own government occupying a particular territory. So if there's this government, then we know that there's the fiduciary, right? This part of the government that is teaching values. So these values that our mothers, our first countries, instilled within us, the value of time, energy, experience, the value of where we expend our resources. She also taught us the humanitarian aspect of government as well, didn't she? How to be good humans, how to live, love, and experience life with other humans. That's a powerful thing in and of itself that our mothers impart upon us, whether it be our birth mother, our adopted mother, or even, as the song suggested, our stepmom, our new mom, after the loss of our birth mom. There's also the judicial, that demonstration of discernment and wisdom. As I was preparing for this Sunday, I sent out a call on social media. And I said, what does it mean to be a mom? And When you think of your mom, what comes to mind? Now, I'm friends with several of you on social media, but I have to tell you that I have just a wonderful group of people in my awareness, and I got the most beautiful responses. Some were of unconditional love and creation. Others were that what it means to be a mom is to teach my child to live without me. That one got me when I thought of my son and him not being with me. And I thought, that's Mother's Day. And there was this really poignant message that was sent that said, the part a mom plays in our lives is great, no matter the duration. She is responsible for our very existence and for many of our wounds, even before we take our first breath. That's a powerful statement of awareness. The kind of power that we have as human beings creating life. And of course, we know that the divine feminine is that aspect of Divine Mother that we all hold in our inner being, in our expression. And often we have to discern when we're going to be expressing the divine feminine versus the divine masculine. And so I thought, I wonder what we would be thinking if we just drew our information from scripture. And one of the most popular scriptures about Mother's Day and about mothers in general is probably very familiar to you. It's Proverbs 31, and its strength and dignity are her clothing. And she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her happy. Now, I have to admit that the experience of Mother's Day is traditionally celebrating that vision of the mother. This vision of the most nurturing, most whole understanding of what love is, of what absolute acceptance is. And in my research, I discovered, as I imagined, that there are so many people that Mother's Day is a trigger to the loss of a child, a trigger to the loss of their mother, a trigger perhaps of the mother that they had that was not in alignment with that beautiful description. So what is it that we do? We do have that choice of moving through this day and pressing forward as if it weren't even an experience. But then we know that we can take this moment to, as Judith so beautifully spoke, to forgive. To forgive our mothers for the mistakes they made, and to forgive ourselves as mothers for the mistakes that we make. To love the creative force in our lives that brought us into being. With this experience, I want to return to Nuraya Waheed. She, as I said, has a beautiful way of painting the world in simplicity. And as I explored this shadow aspect of Mother's Day, this poem came into my awareness. Cruel mothers are still mothers. They make us wars. They make us revolution. They teach us the truth early. Mothers are humans who sometimes give birth to their pain instead of their children. And that experience of motherhood was on full display with so many people who shared their Mother's Day story with me. It's not to say that they don't love their mothers or appreciate their mothers or know the sacrifice of body, spirit, energy, and income that their mothers made. But they are keenly aware of the depth of discomfort that they've experienced. And so what do we do with this day? We can spiritually bypass and just say, everything's great, move on to Monday, and I don't have to worry about mothers. Or we can make this a moment to celebrate that I am here, that you are here because of the sacrifice that our mothers made. I thought of this poem as I explored even more about what is it that Myrtle Fillmore would say, the mother of unity. She is, of course, the co-founder of the spiritual movement known as Unity. And she has this beautiful statement. She wrote letters. And these letters are archived at Unity Village and shared in several books. And one of them is on maternity to women who are getting ready to birth children. And I love that it is applicable to the process of experiencing motherhood as well as being in the moment of forgiving and healing through your life. She says, God is love. The divine love harmonizes and strengthens, enfolds, heals, and protects you. God in the midst of you is a tower of strength and stability. God is the health of his people, and he is your strength and health. Now, of course, I love Myrtle and I love Charles, and I love this beautiful understanding of our relationship to the divine presence within us that they have allowed us to explore in their wisdom. And I also am keenly aware of the fact that we can shift this language slightly and allow it to speak to us even more fully. To say love, divine love, harmonizes and strengthens, enfolds, heals, and protects me and you. Love in the midst of me is a tower of strength and stability. Love is the health of me. Love is my strength and my health. And to move that even further into the understanding of realizing the roles that our mothers and we as mothers play in this developing expression of life. we can speak even further into that. The Divine Mother is love. The Divine Mother harmonizes and strengthens, enfolds, heals, and protects. The Divine Mother in the midst of us is a tower of strength and stability. The Divine Mother is my strength and my health. It becomes something of an ability to understand and accept the humanness of our mothers and of ourselves as mothers. I spoke to some people who were sharing that they had lost children and that this was such a difficult day because they longed for their children that are gone. And then, of course, there's the question, was I a good enough mother? Did I do my job? I can certainly tell you that being a mother to a 6-year-old boy right now in the world of pandemics and TV and video games and all that entails, that question comes up often. Am I doing the right thing? And because my son is an avid and passionate basketball player at 6, 10-foot goals, people, I decided I had to do a little more research, and I found the UCLA basketball coach, John Wooden. And he has a definition of what success is. Success is the peace of mind, which is a direct result of the self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you're capable of becoming. And I have to believe, and actually just do believe, that definition of success, the peace of mind, knowing that you did your best, is applicable to motherhood, daughterhood, sonship, being the best that you can be in this human experience with your creative forces in your life, your mothers. Being the best mother that you can be. Even if you've lost your children, you're still their mother. You're still holding their vision. You're still sharing their life. Being the best mother that you can be to your adult children who are exploring parenthood on their own. Being the best you can be of that mentor, friend, teacher that is so powerfully present in the lives of those whom you interact with. That expression of the divine feminine. Being the best that you can be in that expression brings us to a full ability to not only be in the depths of motherhood on Mother's Day, but to be in the depths of forgiveness, wholeness, and total acceptance of the creative force that is the divine feminine. So our first countries, the first places we ever lived, hold them in your hearts today and know that all is well. And so it is.